Hey everybody, welcome to TIW Podcast. I'm Eric, and today I watched Hell in a Cell 2019, and very quickly, I want to also talk about Joker, the new film directed by Todd Phillips and starring Joaquin Phoenix. So I'm going to start with that. Spoilers, kind of, not really, but spoilers for Joker. Skip ahead like a minute, maybe, to get to the Hell in a Cell stuff. Starting right now. Okay, so I thought Joker was really well made. Joaquin Phoenix had an incredible performance in it. But I can absolutely see why anyone might not like the movie or find it problematic and all that kind of thing. And I think, that might be, the film maybe could have done things about that, but I think maybe if it did, it would have made the film suffer as well. So I'm not sure exactly, but I can absolutely see the problems with it and how the wrong messages could be taken from it, and like the idolization of this character as opposed to seeing this as a what is that a warning, like a cautionary tale type of thing. Because I think the main point of the film, I think if you've skipped ahead a minute, then you're tuning in right now. I'm still talking about Joker, so skip ahead another minute. But I think it's more of a cautionary tale about the importance of addressing mental health and not overlooking those who do have problems with psychological problems and more. So, I think that that's the intent of the film, but because of the character, the character does say some very true things, and some of those true things are the point that, the productive point that the film is making, that, there are some moments when, like, a guy, like a couple seats away from me, like, threw up his fist and was like, yeah, and I was like, no, that's, I think that's a problem. So anyway, other than that, though, I thought it was really well done, really well made, and it's awesome to see. It's not even really a supervillain or superhero movie at all. It's very realistic, I thought. Granted, in reality, there aren't people flying around or anything like that, and it could have just been a movie that wasn't about Joker at all. Could have been anything else, but it's interesting to see it see this type of film made using well-known comic book characters instead of the kind of usual running around and punching bad guys and flying off into the sunset and all that. That kid, like, took the absolutely wrong approach to crossing that chain. Anyway, that's my thoughts on Joker. I don't think I spoiled anything actually about the events in the film. So there you go. All right. So I've been sick since Friday night. That's why I haven't recorded anything until now. I'm recording this right before Raw here in Bakersfield, which is the real Hell in a Cell. So I actually kind of watched Hell in a Cell twice. So I went to the event. I drove from Fullerton to San Jose to meet up with Ricky, and thankfully, because I was feeling so sick, Ricky was able to drive the rest of the way to Sacramento and then drive back, and then I stayed at his place that night. So that I'm extremely grateful for that. We also went with Russell and Rudy, and it was a good time. We had a lot of fun despite maybe some bad things that happened, things that happened badly. I don't know. But anyway, when we got back to Ricky's, we watched most of the pay-per-view again, since we didn't hear the commentary and stuff when we were actually there. And then we finished watching it this morning, and then also watched the Goldberg Chronicle, which was pretty interesting. It kind of ends fairly abruptly, just like, oh, the SummerSlam match happened. That's it. Cool. But anyway, so this is officially the pay-per-view of the year that I've watched the most of this year, since I normally don't rewatch the shows. Or if I do, it's only like a small part of it. But anyway, I did really like this show overall. I missed Natalya versus Lacey Evans, and we did not watch that back because it was on the kickoff. But I saw the ending, and I thought it was pretty good. It was a pretty good finish there. And that was the shortest match of the night, I think. No, second shortest. That and the six-man tag team match are the only matches of the night that were shorter than 10 minutes. And they weren't much shorter than 10 minutes. So that's kind of crazy. Also really crazy is that, well, first of all, they only had 4 matches announced going into the show. And then also, it's really cool, I think, that the women's match, or there were only 4 championship matches, and 3 of the 4 were women's championship matches. And I think that's pretty cool. So anyway, we opened the show with absolutely the best match of the night. Becky Lynch versus Sasha Banks. Becky Lynch won via disarm her. But this match had so many great moments. It was also the longest match of the night. And really, it probably should have been the main event. But I won't get too deep into that. My favorite thing that happened was them constructing the chair in the corner with the kendo sticks, having the kendo sticks in the corner and then putting the chair on top of that. And then Sasha sitting in the chair and then the big drop kick from the apron to that corner. That was amazing. That was freaking awesome. I can't remember any other specific things. I mean, there was tons and tons of stuff that they did. And I enjoyed all of it. So this match is my number one for the night. My number one, okay, we'll get to that in a second. This next match was also really good. It started a little bit slow, but it just built and built and built. It picked up so much momentum. And by the time the crowd was going nuts, I was going nuts as much as I could with a sore throat and stuffed ears and all that. But the Tornado tag team match between Daniel Bryan, Roman Reigns versus Eric Rowan and Luke Harper. Daniel and Roman won, and as Roman offered a handshake, I thought, nah, you guys got a hug. And Daniel Bryan thought the exact same thing. They hugged, everybody went wild. It was great. I loved it. Then we had Randy Orton versus Ali, a surprise match. This was just announced earlier in the day when Ali challenged Randy. And, oh man, Ali is so freaking good, and Randy Orton is also really good. And this match was awesome. The last minute of this match was fantastic. It's my favorite move of the night was Randy going for the RKO and Ali countering it, which was friggin' awesome. But then when he went for that spring or that slingshot facebuster maneuver, which he had pulled off earlier in the match, Randy was ready for it and was successfully hit the RKO at that point. So Randy won, but man, what a freaking awesome match for Ali. I really like that. And then another fantastic match that was announced right before the show. Kabuki Warriors versus Alexa and Nikki for the Tag Team Championship. And the Kabuki Warriors won after Asuka cheated with some of that green mist action. And I was like so excited about that. It was freaking awesome. And from earlier in the match, I didn't pick up on it as much. Then watching it back, the broadcast version, I was like, oh, they're acting like heels this entire time. And like right before Kyrie did her march and then poked Nikki in the eyes, I realized, oh, they're in the heel corner. Interesting. So, when after she poked her in the eyes, I know I could be making this up. I could just be lying about this, but I did think, oh, I hope she does green mist. That would be amazing. And she did, and it was, and they're the champions, and I'm so excited, especially if they go to NXT to challenge some of the teams down there. We've got Rhea and Reina that they could fight. We've got because Rhea and Reina are a face team right now on NXT. So, well, on the house shows, Reina hasn't appeared on TV yet with Rhea. But, and then, of course, we have Dakota and Tegan Nox. Tegan's return has been hyped up a little. We've got a promo for her return soon. So, and then I'm sure there are some other teams. They can also go and team with Io and mess up the Horsewomen. That would be awesome, too. So, I'm really excited for this. And I'm also interested to see where Alexa and Nikki go from here. Then we had the 6-man tag team match. Viking Raiders and their surprise opponent, or their surprise partner, Braun Strowman, face off against the OC, AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. And the Viking Raiders won by disqualification because they all started to beat down Braun Strowman. And then AJ was just totally messed up and could barely walk to the back. He needed help walking to the back. That was really funny. I like that. Then we had Chad Gable versus King Corbin, another fantastic match from these two. Chad Gable won, and now I don't know what this series is at now. Is it 2-2 or something like that? They're going to become a tag team at some point, right? They've got to. The King and his what's a positive thing? Not his jester, but like a king's right hand man, not informant. But I don't know, something like that. But this match, I really like this match as well. The victory was great. And then afterwards, he was interviewed and then attacked by Corbin, because Corbin is not happy about that at all. So, like, if we're going off of everything that I've been talking about so far, I've loved this pay-per-view. Yeah. And I did love this pay-per-view overall. I'm not going to let the last match, most importantly, the last like 5 minutes, affect how much I liked the rest of it. So, moving on, second to last match was Charlotte Flair versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. This match wasn't great, but it was exciting to see Charlotte Flair win. Most of the crowd was not happy about it because we're very close to Bayley's hometown here. But Charlotte Flair does win via the figure 8 leg lock. And she's now 10-time champion. There we go. So, let's see. What was I going to say about that match? I can't remember anything specific about that. Well, afterwards, Bayley, the camera stayed on Bayley for a really long time afterwards, without anything. I thought watching back that they're going to be talking about it or something on commentary, but that was not the case. It was just camera there on Bayley for like 7 minutes, it felt like. But, yeah, we'll see where things go from here for both of these women. If they have, I thought that maybe at least some of the draft picks would be determined by matches, this coming Friday and the following Monday, including like who is the champion. So the current champions wouldn't necessarily be locked in to what championship, to the show that they have the championship of, because they could have a championship match that moves them or removes that title from them, and along with winning the championship, they'd be winning their spot on that show, possibly. So I thought maybe that could be the case between Bayley and Charlotte, but we'll find out. We'll find out more on Raw. I need to wrap up this episode because main event starts in 14 minutes and I'm still sitting in my car. But it's not that far away. It's like, that's kind of a walk. And then the main event, Seth Rollins versus The Fiend Bray Wyatt. Watching it back, I feel like what they were trying to go for was that the referee stopped the match because he didn't want Seth to go down a dark path that he would regret. And the commentary didn't really sell that idea at all, really. It was really just the ref that was selling that idea. And hopefully we get some explanation of that. But the referee stopped the match after Seth used a sledgehammer to slam the Fiend in the head with all kinds of, with a ladder and a chair and a toolbox all piled up on top of his head. And the referee stopped it. And as the paramedics came in, Seth went to attack the Fiend again, but the Fiend woke up and destroyed Seth after the match had already ended. So there's a bunch of different ways this match could have gone that wouldn't have been perceived as a complete failure like this way did. And even the way that they did execute it this way, I felt like they could have done better by explaining it more on commentary. And maybe there's that they're trying to keep that realism of, they don't know what's going on. But break that a little bit so that you can help us know what's going on. Like, I think it's okay for the commentators to know a little bit more than they theoretically should, just so that for the benefit of the audience. That's what they're there for. It's kind of frustrating when it is a scripted event for the commentators to act like they don't have no idea what's happening, in some instances, this being one of them. So, yeah, the ending, not good, but there's some cool things that happen in the match. The red lights is kind of neat, but for how long the match was, if the match was only like 2 minutes, I think the match should end. The Fiend matches so far, they all should have ended when he snaps his opponent's neck, and then like disqualification because he friggin' murdered someone. That's what I think should be happening. But anyway, it is what it is, as they say, and we'll see if they explain it or what tonight on Raw. So I gotta get in there. I only have 11 minutes till the main event. Let me know what you thought about this episode, and Joker by tweeting me at TIW Podcast. Go to TIWpodcast.com for more reviews. If you enjoyed this episode or anything else on the site, please share some links with your friends. Subscribe on iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, YouTube, wherever you like to listen. Stay safe out there in all the infinite multiverses, and I'll see you next time here on TIW Podcasts. Bye!